Secret friends, unite!
Welcome to the Secret Friends Unite podcast, episode 97. This is your guide to the world of nerd. I'm Todd Oxter, your host, joined by Charlie Carden.
Hey, we're half the length, but twice the excitement. Woo!
Half the length, twice the girth.
I did.
We're shorter but wider.
That is what she said.
So this is our second episode in the new format. So just give you guys a heads up. Sometimes we'll only have news and Geek Easy, but then sometimes, like this episode, we will have a special segment. So, and then we'll probably throw a game in an episode because we like doing the name game. That's a lot of fun. And we will go back to having co-hosts as well. So guest hosts or ghosts, as we call them.
Ooh, the ghost.
Yeah, and if anyone is interested, and you've got some podcast experience, and have something unique you'd like to talk about.
Did you say podcastic?
Yes, podcastic. Some podcast experience, and you have something cool you'd like to talk about. Let us know, and we can see if we can get you on.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
But in the meantime, I think it might be a chance to hook up with that grand old gal. She's a heck of a gal, Madam Webb, for Rumors and News.
Now it's time for Madam Webb's Rumors and News. Take it away, boys.
Thank you, Madam Webb. It's almost the end of January, and at this point, we're getting a little nervous. People think you're a hoarder because your Christmas lights are still up, your Christmas tree is still up, it's almost rotting, and we don't want it to fall on you and kill you. So call up your old buddy Peter Parker and have him do some spring cleaning for you.
Oh my God, if the thing fell on her, she'd snap like a twig. Crack like a rotten branch. Oh, that's terrible. Okay, what's up first?
Yeah, in TV, there has been a long, I guess, mourning of the Constantine TV series. A lot of people really enjoyed, not necessarily the actual show, but the actor who played Constantine back. I think it was 2014 is when that series took place. It was canceled, and everybody thinks it's going to keep coming back. It's going to keep coming back. He was brought back, I believe, last season to Arrow for one episode, and that was a lot of fun. I like that dynamic between Arrow and the Supernatural piece. That was cool. But now, and we were actually talking about this, a couple episodes ago, how they could bring Constantine back, and apparently they've solved that riddle by telling us he's going to be on an animated series on the CW Seed. The CW Seed is actually CW's kind of like original digital content that you can watch online. They've done this once already with Vixen. They've done 2 seasons of Vixen animated, and it actually ties into the Arrowverse.
So you're saying it's your fixin' of Vixen?
That's right. Classy, Charlie.
You like that? All right.
Yeah, so Constantine is going to get his own series on CW Seed. So it's not necessarily what everybody wanted, but the cool part is it's Matt Ryan once again playing that character. And this will actually be the second time that character has been animated. He is also going to be in the Justice League Dark animated movie that is going to be one of the DC animated movies.
Oh, yeah. And you know what? If anything, and I know it's a very derisive subject, but some of the DC TV is great. Some of it we don't like so much. The movies have been a basket of deplorables, if you will, the live-action films. But their animated films, that they release on home video, have generally been pretty terrific.
Yeah, I've enjoyed them a lot. I think their take on it. Sometimes, I think the biggest one that's people have some controversy about is it was the most recent Killing Joke, where they added unnecessary elements, which I thought was kind of silly. It's like, you didn't have to do it. Why didn't you just stick to the main series? But if you take away that part, from what I've heard, it was very good.
Right. No, I agree. You haven't seen it yet?
I have not. I don't know if I needed to because I've read the book and maybe it's worth watching. I don't know.
and that part was very faithful. I think it's on HBO Go right now, if I'm not mistaken.
Okay.
So you're able to take a look.
Oh, nice. Okay. But this Matt Ryan, like I said, will be the voice of Constantine again, and it won't take you very long to watch this. This is almost like a Clone Wars animated situation where there are 6 to 7 episodes, and they will only be 10 minutes each. So quite honestly, most likely it's one arc, but they've just broke it up into digestible elements so they can release them every week. So that's kind of nice. So it's not like you have to another 23 episodes that are an hour long. Oh my God. This allows them to tell a brisk story, and especially with animation, you can do some cool things in animation that you probably don't have the budget for a live action show.
Right. Gotcha. Cool. No, I mean, now what's the way to check this out is obviously you said from a website?
CW Seed, there is an app, and there also is on the web. So you can watch it either way. Yeah.
So when you say there's an app, this means I can grab this on the Roku or I'm watching off on my phone?
That's a great question. Let me look that up, and I will be more intelligent and tell you how to do it.
My phone or tablet, I should say.
Yeah, so CWC actually has, like I said, unique content. Like they have one, Vixen has 2 series already out. How to Be a Vampire is a new series, which could be a little funny. You can actually watch Constantine on the CW Seed.
Okay.
Yeah, and so it does have it has a show called The Game, which I don't know what it is, but it looks like some type of sitcom on the CW. And and they do Whose Line Is It Anyway? So it's like CW owned properties that aren't on another network. Girlfriends, 666 Park Avenue, even Charlie V, the revamp.
Oh, really? I'm gonna find the app on my Roku right now.
Yeah, so
because I have the Roku app for apps on my phone, so I'm just gonna look at it. Oh, except I've got to have it. Oh.
Yeah, I love the tagline though. It's called the CW Seed. Only suckers pay to watch TV, which I thought was kind of funny. Yeah, exactly. No. So there is a lot of content. There is a CW Seed app, and it's on the Apple Store, Roku, iPad, iPhone, Android, Amazon Fire. So it's everywhere. And I don't know. I'm assuming there's some type of advertising that pays for it.
Right.
Yeah.
The devil must get his due.
Yeah. So check out CW Seed. I've heard the Vixen is pretty cool. And it's not a long time commitment. Probably in 2 hours you could watch both seasons.
Good deal. Cool. Yeah. All right. What is up next? This next story looks kind of exciting.
Yeah. We had, I think I even asked you the question. We heard that there was going to be a new X-Men series, and I couldn't remember them talking about this, but apparently it did drop about a year ago. They mentioned that they were creating a standalone X-Men TV series, not Legion, which is going to be dropping on FX.
Yeah, that was going to be my first guess. It always is just about Legion, but that's about ready to pop right quick here.
Yeah, and this is going to be a Fox show, and apparently this is going to be more about, and I don't know necessarily how they're going to, if they're going to incorporate this into it's going to be a standalone thing, or it will incorporate it into Legion, or be tied to the movies. I don't know at all, but basically they're saying it's about, it starts off about 2 parents who are on the run because their child is born a mutant, and they are trying to protect their child from being taken away. And so they end up finding a group of other mutants. And so potentially this could be like on the run, fighting the government with mutants. Now, will they kind of tie it into, now they've called out, could it be the Morlocks, which are, an underground group of mutants that live underground, typically are less than human looking, typically like outcasts, not like your pretty mutants, as they always said. They'd say, oh, you guys are pretty, you can be out in the real world, but we can't.
Right.
And it's set, it says it will be set in the same general universe as the movies, and there will be new characters as well as some familiar ones.
God, I mean, saying something is set in the universe of the movies is what a loaded statement that is, because there hasn't been another franchise that I can even imagine that has had a more convoluted set of continuity than the X-Men movies. I mean, what is current is some of the stuff from the 60s, the 80s, if you remember the very first film gave us a point of reference. It was Magneto, and it was in the concentration camp, and then it flashed forward to a title card that said the not too distant future. Which and that came out that movie came out in the year 2000. So what the hell does that even? What is the starting point for what? My head's starting to hurt.
Yeah, I think what they're going to assume is, what mutants are, what the X-Men are. It's not necessarily it's this timeline or this timeline, but it's kind of like. It's not trying to be like that Mutant X show, which was absolutely horrible. That was in like the early 90s, which had mutant in the title but had nothing to do with the X-Men. I think they're going to basically say, you live in a world of the X-Men and mutants, and maybe they'll do like side shots of like, oh, there's the X-Men fighting or something. Or maybe this is pre-X-Men where mutants are getting along. I don't know. But I think what the cool part is they'll be able to, because there is a deep history of mutants, so you can pull from characters that maybe have never been on the screen before, but hardcore fans like me would know.
Right.
Yeah, so I think it'll be probably a mix, and maybe they'll take familiar characters, but also new, so I'm fine with that.
Right.
It's all how they do it. I mean, if it's cool like a Gotham, where they, play around with things and introduce them in an interesting way, it'd be cool. And quite honestly, we have Legion out there that's coming up, and I heard that show is getting some... Because I guess critics have already seen screeners of it, and they're saying it's definitely a unique take on heroes and mutants. So maybe they can do that and do it with the show. So who knows?
Magnificent.
Yeah, so, man, we are in the golden age of comic books on TV. So this is just another choice. Not all of them will be good, but that's the thing. It's not like one show is going to kill the whole genre, which is great. Yeah, so we move on from TV into movies. Staying with mutants, though, we know Deadpool 2 is going to be coming out. It's just kind of like if you watched the end of Deadpool, he kind of did a Ferris Bueller's Day Off and talking about who would be Cable, and Cable would be involved. And we know that the former director, there was rumblings too about, they wanted to go a different direction. Well, I think we're getting some more clarity on what will happen. But we do know that Colossus and Negasonic Teenage Warhead will be returning.
Fantastic. And as far as the comic relief, both of those characters in a comedy-filled movie brought something, I think, comedically significant to the role. I mean, you're a apathetic teenager, and you're a straight-laced straight man who gets kicked in the balls more than once. And it just shrugs it off. That's a great flick. When I saw this, and it came out about a year ago, wasn't it February of 2016? And I didn't end up picking it up because I'm like, I thought it was all right, whatever it is. And I rewatched it 2 or 3 months ago because it's on HBO and just laughed my ass off again. What a great flick. It's just fun.
Oh, yeah. I mean, it's a breath of fresh air.
Yeah.
Sadly, it's not for the kids, so it's not like something you can go, hey, kids, watch this. Ah.
Yeah, right. No, not a chance.
Yeah. So that was the first bit of news, so that's cool. And, hopefully maybe they'll expand and bring in some other mutants. That they say that they got that big mansion, and these are the only 2 there, I mean, come on.
Right.
But, I mean, I'm assuming they could stick to, think about characters like... In the comic book, they had a character called Siren. I don't know if you know who she is.
Yeah, she was part and parcel to Banshee.
Yeah, it was Banshee's daughter.
Sister, whatever.
And actually, Deadpool had like a romance with her. So maybe she comes in to be a female foil. Not saying that, and I'm not sure exactly if Marina Baccarin will continue or she'll be kind of out of the picture, kind of like a... Betty Ross for like the Hulk.
Oh, right. I'm off doing stripper stuff in another stripper place.
Exactly. Yeah. So I don't know. In that character that she played, Marina Baccarin, actually in the comics actually has abilities and things too. So I don't know. We'll see where that goes. Because there obviously has to be something. Maybe Vanessa gets kidnapped or something. I don't know. Who knows? I guess we'll see. The second bit of news is about how there's still a plan to bring in Cable. Cable is probably one of the most convoluted
I was just
characters.
Reading this and remembering because I knew he was Cyclops' son. At some point in the future, he comes back and I'm like, who's his mother? Is it Jean Grey? No, it is Madeline Pryor, Jean Grey's clone. Here we go with the clones again.
And I believe she was I'm trying to remember her name. She was like the Demon Queen or the Goblin Queen, I think.
And Inferno.
That's right.
Which was everything can be traced back to a shitty spin-off of Secret Wars, and that was one of them.
That was a lot of fun. I liked Inferno. It was kind of like X-Men fighting demons, and it was kind of different. I like that. But yeah, Cable was just it. He was the child of Scott Summers and Madeline Pryor, and then he was whisked away as a baby to the future because he had a virus, techno-organic virus that could only be treated in the future, and then he pops up in the comic books as I don't know what his age is. He looks old, gray hair, probably maybe 50-ish, maybe.
Sure. I know his hair looks more gray than mine, so I'll say 50-ish.
Sure. And so he's kind of like the grizzled warrior because in the future, there's been battles and it's horrific, and he's kind of like that Rambo-esque Arnold Schwarzenegger type character. But in the comics, they actually had Deadpool and Cable kind of had a interesting relationship, kind of like a buddy cop, but Deadpool's the moron and Cable is the guy that keeps having to deal with the moron. So
it's like you and me, but who's the moron?
Exactly. So it's almost like Clint Eastwood teaming up with Martin Short or something like that. Yeah. Yeah.
Right.
So he's convoluted, so they're trying to figure out how they're going to bring him in. There's talks about who's going to play a Cable, but I think adding in just really bizarre time travel, other elements works really well with Deadpool because, quite honestly, that world is so, breaking the fourth wall, talking to the audience, and Deadpool can just comment to say, I can't believe we're doing this, or, yeah, this makes total sense. A lot of sarcasm and things like that. Yeah.
Right.
So I like it. I think it's a great way to add more and really expand it because you can't repeat what you did in that first movie. You can't.
Right.
Yeah. So really
can't catch lightning in a bottle twice.
Yeah, and they can play with some unique villains we've never seen before on screen. Like, Mr. Sinister is, I think, a good candidate because he deals with the Cable and the Scott Summers bloodline, basically experimenting on mutants and things like that. Deadpool might say, oh, I need a way to heal myself or to cure myself, and maybe Mr. Sinister presents him an idea on how to do that. So I guess we shall see.
Indeed.
Yeah, so that wraps up our news for this week. And Madam Webb, good job. Take some time off. Jared Tall is on the house.
Ooh, always. You bet. But with that, I hear a twinkling in the air of a little bit of Doobie Brothers, or maybe that's Christopher Cross. Todd, I think it's time to slide on in to the Geek Easy.
This is Yacht Rock. Smooth rock classics from the 70s and 80s. Yacht Rock. Album out now.
We're sitting the Geek Easy. Dan Fogelberg's got the week off, so Christopher Cross is pulling extra duty as the short order cook and the dishwasher.
He's coming out singing, "Sailing, take me away." Come on, Todd. You're not even going to give me a verse? You're killing me.
Sail on down the line. Oh, wait.
Wait. About a half a mile or so, my wife done broke my nose because she caught me cheating.
Yep, that's exactly right. Yeah, so the Geek Easy, we talk about what we're excited about inspired by Yacht Rock to talk about what we're excited about in the world of nerd. Charlie, what are you excited about?
Well, I'm watching a new show and getting excited about the return of a show that I've taken a lot more interest in recently. Over on NBC, Following Grimm, which is a show that Todd's not crazy about, is a little program called Emerald City, and this is a contemporary take on The Wizard of Oz that we've talked about here on this program. Now, Todd, have you started watching it yet?
No, it's on the DVR, and I wanted to watch it.
Okay, well, I will not say a hell of a lot beyond the fact that it is it's been purported to be Game of Thrones meets Oz, because the Oz part is obvious, but the Game of Thrones part I think has to do with a lot of kind of world building, witches, lions, wardrobe, except for not those other two things, but basically witches, magic, kingdoms. You've got, contemporary take. Dorothy is a nurse in Kansas, which this is all filmed overseas, so it's what they would imagine Kansas would look like, which is great. She's from Lucas, Kansas, and it has this nice little printed sign, Lucas, Kansas, population 300 or something, and everything looks real nice and pristine and clean, which you wouldn't expect out of a town with 300 people. That's where the series starts. So anyway, a lot of the typical elements you would expect. She gets swept up in a storm, transported to another place. But this is, you want to talk about grim and gritty reboots. You're getting the Scarecrow is this swordsman criminal she finds up on a cross, and things just really go downhill from there. So, Todd, I won't say a heck of a lot more, but it is it's deep. It's deep, and it is gritty, and it's clearly not for children. So it fits the bill being on, Friday nights after Graham at 10 o'clock or whatever. So good program. I'm enjoying it. This kind of thing traditionally is all more April's thing than it is mine. But I'm enjoying it. I like it. I mean, it doesn't, and again, it is the Game of Thrones, but it's Game of Thrones light because obviously it's on broadcast TV. And then April's statement, which is the very obvious thing for me, is how can they afford to make this on broadcast television? And that instantly makes me kind of afraid if this doesn't take off, it's going to get the axe. Because it does look production wise to be pretty pricey. So hopefully people are loving it. I've not checked into, we just watched episode 2, so I've not checked into how it's doing. But hopefully it's doing all right.
Yeah. And I know we talked about this. Tarsum Singh is the guy who did this, and he is renowned for his visuals. Just does everything in a different take. It's kind of like a Baz Luhrmann, where he does things larger than life, use unique visuals. His storytelling, though, has typically not been the best, so that's been the biggest problem. But if you're seeing that the storyline's decent and good, that kind of be kind of cool.
I think so. Well, take a stab, and we will talk about it. We will talk about it in the future. Secondly, for me, Star Wars Rebels came back last week. We had a neat 2-parter with Saw Gerrera. Of course, seeing that great trailer that we talked about in 2 episodes back when Brian was with us, looked like Obi-Wan Kenobi, the older Obi-Wan Kenobi, was going to be on right away. But it was a trailer for the rest of the season, so that episode has not come upon us. So there's a 2-parter, Ghosts of Geonosis, where they went back to the place where the Clone Wars started, and did a mission with Saw. That was pretty cool. Did you end up seeing that one yet, Todd?
I've watched part of it, but yeah, I was going to watch it with Logan.
Oh, okay. And then this week's episode, we actually watched it yesterday morning because and I had realized this, I think I mentioned that the Disney XD app publishes the episode the morning of, or maybe even the night before. So we got to watch that with limited commercial interruption. That was a fun one-off episode with Zeb and their inherited protocol droid, and basically it's called Warhead. So it's about an Imperial assassin droid that crashes on their base, loses its memory, they reactivate it, and then it goes on with its mission. So it's kind of a cat and mouse little tale. I'm loving this series. For me, I've got renewed interest. I've kind of watched it these last 2 seasons. Like, yeah, this is all right, but not really paid attention. But with Rogue One and kind of being on the Star Wars kick, I'm really wrapped. I'm tuned in. It has my full attention. So really excited to be the latter half of the season. It looked like it's going to be a lot of story momentum building towards our crew becoming moving away from being on their own to even closer to being part of the Yavin 4 main rebel group with Mon Mothma and Radek and maybe even Cassian Andor and some of the other folks that we saw in Rogue One. So very exciting. Tune in, check it out. It's good stuff.
Yeah, I really enjoy Rebels. I like the fact that they're the one that's actually doing the heavy lifting on bridging these, these storylines and these characters, and which I appreciate because there's a lot there now on the table, and they're also bringing in the EU, which not the European Union, but the expanded universe.
They reversed a little bit of their Brexit on the EU. Bump.
Yeah, so I think it's great that they're doing it, and the more that they can bring in, and what I would hope, and maybe we'll see this. You've talked about our passion for Shadows of the Empire knows no bounds. Why not play with those characters?
Well, I mean, and that was the source of I'll give a little tiny shout out to a YouTube channel that I follow called Star Wars Explained. There was a featurette about that exact topic. About Dash Rendar that I published yesterday, and hints that it's possible we could end it, that parts of his story are canon, and it wouldn't. There's a path to bringing him into the main light. So, kind of cool.
Yeah. I mean, I'm always excited to make that universe a little bit more broader, rather than it's only 20 people and they all have sex and all their children are related, and it's very odd.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, so, cool. Glad to hear you're enjoying some new stuff. Yeah, we're going to get, with January coming in, we're going to get new shows, mid-season replacements, or the second half of the seasons of a lot of our CW shows. So, very exciting to see some new TV. But for me, I actually played a game. My GameFly membership ended, or actually I canceled it because, quite honestly, there's not a lot of new games coming out right now. Plus, I've got a backlog, and I'm going to try to work on that. But one of the games that I was sent last was a game called Shantae, Half Genie Hero. And Shantae is this really cool character, which when they first brought it out, looked like old, 16-bit Mario games, and it's really neat about this genie called Shantae. Your ability is, if your attack is basically you whip your hair, kind of like, think of Genie from my what is it? What's the old TV show? I Dream of Genie.
Yes, there you
Remember,
go.
Barbara Eden had her hair, so you whip your hair as kind of your attack. And it was always well done, and they've continued to develop that series, and now it's back for HD consoles, and they've went with a unique art style, which almost looks like a cartoon. It's really pretty, really beautiful, always has a sense of humor. It's very tongue-in-cheek, like you're a half genie, so your one parent was a genie, and the other parent was not a genie, so you're kind of like you struggle with your powers. You're not exactly the end-all be-all, and your job is to protect the city, and you keep getting fired because somebody always attacks the city, so then you have to go on and redeem yourself. So it's very cute, it's fun, it's hard, but you get different abilities. You turn into a monkey so you can climb, you turn into an elephant so you can hit down walls, you turn into a bat so you can fly. And it's just goofy. It's fun. It's a beautiful game. So if you're looking for something for fun for the kids, it's on Wii U, it's on PS4, Xbox. The older games I think are on the other platforms too. But it's really a throwback. I'm enjoying it. Logan's playing it as well. So it's a really cool game to check out, and it has a lot of heart. So Shantae, Half Genie Hero.
Cool. Good deal. Alrighty. Well, man, that is it. For the Geek Easy, Christopher Cross is going to play us off. Todd, hum us a few bars so Christopher doesn't feel like he's all alone.
Alone again? Naturally.
That's not one of his songs. But Todd, when we leave the Geek Easy, where are we going to go?
Well, Charlie, we have this fantastic thing called the Marvel Unlimited app, and we are going to make mine Marvel Unlimited.
Deadpool, I'm a juggernaut, letting off Iron Man for my mission of joining the Illuminati, and ain't no one stopping my vision. I'm a beast, you're a wasp, I can shoot the wings off a falcon from a mile away.
It's time for Make Mine Marvel Unlimited. Charlie and I are big fans of the Marvel Unlimited app. It's basically the Netflix of comics, as long as you like Marvel comics. But it has, I think, over 20,000 issues, and they basically add in new comics weekly.
Probably 50 titles on average. Every week.
Old and new. So the newest comics typically are 6 months old,
right?
Which is cool because you can catch up on stuff maybe you missed. So Charlie and I have said, let's catch up and check out some series that have dropped, and let's get a little bit more, broaden our range of our typical reading. So we both picked a series, and we read basically the first storyline of that series. So Charlie, you picked what?
I picked the Haunted Mansion. Because what I did is I did a sort, which it's easy to sort this way, of titles published in 2016 only. So that meaning that they were obviously new. And I picked the Haunted Mansion, and I can be honest with you, I know it's a Disney title, but I didn't really know anything about it. And Todd, you started quipping on me. This was a movie with Eddie Murphy at one point.
You didn't know that? Yeah, Disney made a movie in probably 2003. It was kind of like when they were going on the Pirates of the Caribbean bandwagon, where they were going to make all their attractions into movies.
Oh, okay. Todd, I didn't know anything about that movie, but you said back in 2003.
It's horrible, by the way.
Oh,
but it made me watch it. You know, hey, it's like it's right up there in his Pluto Nash, Norbit.
It was
era.
at the same time, wasn't it? Right,
it kind of was, yeah.
2000s.
Yeah.
That's tough. So anyway, I was kind of drawn to this because to me it seemed outside the norm. Something I wouldn't ordinarily have touched. We read 4 issues, a typical arc in comics these days, and you'll see if you go to the bookstore, and any trade paperback you see will generally be about 5 issues. So we got 4 issues, both of this series and then of the second one that we read. And this is kind of neat. We opened with a young boy who's he's a preteen, maybe teenage, maybe early teenaged, very tight with his grandfather. They're hanging out. His grandpa is this world traveler. His grandpa's always encouraging him to bust out of his shell, do different stuff. And he said they're standing outside this haunted old mansion. They're saying, "Oh, just promise me, so what was the kid's name?"
I don't know.
Thank God I'm not the only one who can't remember. So anyway, little Billy, when I get back from my trip to the Himalayas, this is an obvious setup. Promise me we'll go into the haunted mansion, just the 2 of us. Well, not surprisingly, Grandpa goes to the Himalayas and he dies in an avalanche.
No, or did he, Charlie?
I so far as of issue 4, yes. So at any rate, Grandpa dies. Obviously, the little boy's devastated, and he's praying at his grandpa's graveside. And Todd, what happens then?
A voice from beyond.
Exactly. A voice from beyond beckons him to this house on the hill because his grandfather's spirit, along with the spirit of many others, is trapped and needs freeing from the evil, basically pirate captain who's running the show. And I don't know, Todd, how does any of this tie in with the movie or with the ride in your experience? Because like I said, I'm coming from a point I know nothing about it.
The ride I've been on several times, and there were elements like when he's in the elevator and he sees the portraits and they're expanding. That's part of the ride where you can kind of see these portraits, and as the floor kind of goes down, you can kind of see, the portraits actually expand, and it looked like a woman that was just she was like hanging from a rope, and then you see it. Oh, there's a crocodile that she's trying to escape hanging from the rope. So it was some visual cues. I think the people, the partying people, were also part of the ride itself, where you'd see like ghosts partying and having fun. So there's some limited part, but I don't necessarily remember the pirate guy. So I think that might have just been an expansion of it. But yeah,
little creativity. So we read 4 issues of this. Is it little boy? I'm just going to call him Little Billy because I just don't know his name. Little Billy is in the house. He gets waylaid by Pickwick, who's kind of a friendly party spirit. See, that name I remembered. And they try to keep him in the house, and they hypnotize him. But eventually, the pirate captain wants him back, so he runs off, and it's ultimately his mission. To find a way to free these spirits and to free them from the lure, the control of the pirate captain, under the guise of freeing his grandfather, which we find out is a fib. He's not actually in there.
No,
it's true. But his voyage is, the last issue. Obviously, there's one issue left. But we found our little Billy in dire straits at the end of issue 4 when he confronts the killer bride ghost in the attic of the house. He finds the portal by which the ghost might be able to leave, but he falls out the window, and that's the end of issue 4. So
it's literally a cliffhanger or window hanger. I don't know.
It's a door hanger. I don't know.
Yes.
It depends on if he grabs the gutter on the way down. Todd, I enjoyed it. You more than me. I'm more of a comfort food when it comes to my consumption. I love my Spider-Man. I love my Star Trek. I love my Star Wars. But every once in a while, there's nothing wrong with breaking out of your shell and trying something different. And it's funny, in the process of I recommend a title and you recommend a title, your first recommendation was the Black Panther.
Which I heard good things about. Yeah.
I read the first issue and it bored me to tears. I was like, dude,
Okay.
pick something. I was like, pick something else. I don't know. Did you read it?
I didn't, so I just skipped
Yeah.
it. I took your word and went there. But that was funny because that title has gotten like kudos for being like fantastic. So I'm like, okay,
it does seem like it's very highbrow, but maybe the brow was too high for Charlie.
Okay.
But anyway, getting back to my original point, this is not something I ever would have picked up upon, and I enjoyed reading it. So you know what? I've taken a page from Todd's book. I spread my wings a little bit. I tried something different, and I had fun with it. So I would recommend it. Todd, would you say that this would be appropriate for kids to read?
Oh yeah, it was fun.
Probably,
it was a good tale. Yeah.
Much more so than a lot of Marvel comics or comics in general in this day and age, which can sometimes have inappropriate elements depending on the age of your kids. And as always, we at Secret Friends here say, know your kids before you expose them to something that might ordinarily be perhaps questionable. A comic book rated T for teens, a game rated mature, or a PG-13 or an R-rated movie. Just know your kids, know what they can handle and what they're going to be okay with before you take the plunge. Never make assumptions. Just like those parents that took their kids to see Sausage Party, don't make assumptions.
No.
That just because it's a cartoon, it's okay for kids. So I would recommend this for kids. It was a fun read. That's kind of where I stand. I liked it.
Cool. Yeah, it was fun. It was a nice, simple tale, kind of like a ghost tale. Kind of reminded me of like a kid's Goosebumps or something like that. So yeah, it's a good. I didn't expect it. I mean, I don't know how long this series is supposed to be. If it's 6 issues or whatever. But I don't know if it's an ongoing or if it's just going to wrap up after like issue 6. So we shall see.
I would think issue 5 because there's only one part left to the isn't it a 5-parter story? Or maybe I'm thinking of the second one that we read was a 5-part story.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I don't remember
maybe
seeing
this one is not.
Yeah, it's hard to tell sometimes how many issues something is, and I do like the idea of a limited story, a miniseries, as you would, because you can just sell one story and you don't have to worry about carrying it over and milking an idea and stretching it out. So we'll go from there. But yeah, the book I picked was Moon Knight. This is a 2016 new series. Moon Knight is a character that's been around since early 80s?
It's late 70s, I'm
thinking. Late 70s? Okay.
Well, you know what? You keep talking and I will look it up.
Yeah, and I remember reading Moon Knight series in the 80s that Mark Teixeira actually did the artwork, and I really enjoyed it. And he's kind of a mix of a Batman tied with Egyptian mythology, where he basically got, I don't know if he got strength, I guess, enhanced strength and agility from the god, the fake god Khonshu, Egyptian god, and he is known for having the white hood and the all white costume, because he kind of looks like a white version of Batman.
He was a white Batman. He was, I believe, definitely a 70s character in the mid to late 80s. He was a member of the West Coast Avengers.
Sure. Yeah.
Bet you didn't know that.
Yeah. So, and lately they've been playing around with Moon Knight, and the latest thing they've been saying is basically he's insane and he's crazy. Right. So that's been kind of going on. So that's where this book kicked off. You wake up, Mark Spector. He was also known as different names and different identities through time, and he's in a insane asylum. And this is kind of a familiar trope we've had with other characters and in series, even on TV, where the character thinks he's sane, but everyone tells them that they are insane. So it's you know, is he basically trapped in some type of alternate reality? Is someone playing a game or manipulating them? I mean, every show has done this, where is he really insane and he's thought up this whole crazy universe, or is he really sane and he has to escape? So that's kind of the premise for this book.
Here you go. Quick break in. First appearance, Werewolf by Night, number 32, August 1975.
Okay, so older character than I thought, but yeah, tied more into the Marvel Dark universe.
Yeah, your Marvel Monsters.
Yeah.
Which was a Dracula, living mummy, werewolf, in that mid-70s kind of deal.
Yeah, so he's been around for a while, but definitely a very tertiary character.
Right.
Yeah, people off the street would never know who he is. So that's the whole premise of this book, is he is trying to figure out if he's sane, and if he is, how does he get out of this normal universe where it just looks like he's in a mental health patient or mental patient in a mental ward. And we got through issue 4, and there is the first storyline was not resolved, so issue 5 should probably resolve the storyline and get him onto a new storyline after that. But I liked it, but yeah, I kind of felt like terrain we've gone through before, which is the hero has to get himself from the insane world to the sane world. But yeah, I thought the artwork was fun. It was pretty good, and yeah, I enjoyed it.
Yeah, I liked it too. There's no doubt, like you said, the trope that you mentioned upon has been done everywhere. It's not just the comic world. It's it's sci-fi. There's Star Trek and probably the X-Files, and has been done on regular TV shows, if you will. Probably all your Chicago series, Chicago Hope, ER, blah blah, The Alternate Lifestyle of My Nuts, this and that. The trope aside, I enjoy the artwork quite a bit. I found myself guessing from one beat to the next, is this legit? Is he a nutter? Is he really not a nutter? So you're looking for the ultimate conclusion. And yeah, it did say this was, issue 4 or 5 is what we got through. So yeah, it will wrap up and we will know. Of course, if we, I'm sure either one of us could probably go to the library and find a trade. But I'd rather wait. I'd rather wait and find out. I don't know, to your knowledge, is this ongoing? I don't know if it's still cranking right now. I could probably look at my Comixology and tell you.
Well, knowing Marvel, it's going to last like 6 issues and get canceled and then be brought back with another number 1.
Right. Exactly. Number ones are the way to do it.
The all new again.
All new again. What's old is new, Marvel?
Exactly. So, I'd like to keep doing this, Charlie. Every month, do another one of these and find new series that, maybe titillates us. And hey, this is my new favorite series of all time. Love it. Mm-hmm. And it's cheap. It's $5 a month or whatever it works out to be. And you are my sugar daddy this time. I'm happy to do it. And I will say that I was following a couple of different titles lately via subscription. I had a newer Avengers title, which had some older characters, and Spider-Man joined. Didn't grab me in the first 3 issues. I was reading Champions, which I did like, but I don't know that I liked it enough to pay for it every month. I folded those remaining numbers back into The Amazing Spider-Man. That's a title I know I want to read every month. It's great. I love Spider-Man. He's my guy. So absolutely everything else that I will read for newer stuff will come through this, through the Marvel Unlimited app. So I love it. I don't see a time between now and when the internet dies or they decide to get rid of this that I won't have it, because I like it that much. I read every single night. It's just part of my routine. I like to read for about a half hour to an hour before I go to sleep. So I use this every single day. It's as our new president would say, it's tremendous. It's huge. It's good stuff. It's bigly.
It's bigly, absolutely. So yeah, I highly recommend. I'm taking a page from Todd's book. I would highly recommend doing this again. Subscription is usually $70. We got ours for $60, which works out to $5 a month. But even if it's $7.50 or $10 a month, more than pays for itself if you read just a handful of comics in a month.
Yeah, and it's perfect for your tablet. You can read it on the PC. And sometimes they offer free trials as well.
Yeah, you'll get a month for free, so you'll find for back. So yeah, we're shilling the hell out of this. Disney has not sent us a check, so maybe someday.
We can only, plead to the mouse gods.
The mouse gods. But just so you know, Moon Knight is an ongoing series.
Fantastic. As far as we know, it will be ongoing to issue 9.
Yeah, well, it's issue 12 is currently available for pre-order on Comixology.
Yeah, we'll see.
So that's a year. So we'll see. That's it for Make Mine Marvel Unlimited. Hello. So it seems like the ship has turned towards some geek loving. The Love Boat.
Everything is awesome. Everything is cool when you're part of a team. Everything is awesome when we live in our dream.
We're spreading some geek love. This is all about highlighting some stuff that we love that the geek community is doing, whether it's in Secret Friends or broader. And for this week, another shout out to Daniel Davis and his website, Supernova Games Entertainment. And this week he did an Alan Rickman tribute, basically a year later, like Charlie talked about his passing, and he's just highlighting some things that he loved about Alan Rickman. And for me, Alan Rickman, my role that I will always think of him in is Galaxy Quest, because that was one of the last movies I really got to enjoy with my dad when he was in good health, and we loved it because he loved Star Trek, and that's what he introduced me to the world of Geek with that. And Galaxy Quest obviously was a great parody, great movie, and Alan Rickman was in that and did a great job. So if you want something to check out that's a little bit different, so check out his website at Supernova Games and Entertainment. SupernovaGames.net is where you find it on the web, and he's at Game Supernova on Twitter.
My. And you know what? I'm actually going to give this a stab. Now, I don't know this guy personally. And he some of the videos that he does are clips. Some of the videos that he does, he hosts personally. And I almost swear he says his name, but I'm not remembering. So I apologize. But I recently got turned on to a YouTube channel thanks to John, a.k.a. Guy Bartendo, who is our third partner in spirit, called Star Wars Explained, or essentially a Star Wars Minute, if you were to search for it either on YouTube or Facebook. Star Wars Minute would be how you'd find him. Basically, this guy, this is his tagline, whether you've been a fan of Star Wars since the beginning or Rogue One is going to be your first experience. If you want to quickly and easily learn more about the Star Wars universe, Star Wars Explained is the channel that you're looking for. Now, this guy is producing content, I think 3 times a week, Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. And these are videos that I, when I wake up in the morning and, and my wife's in the shower before me and I'm just kind of sitting there snoozing, I watch this dude's videos, or I'll watch him on the YouTube, I'll just watch him on YouTube on my Roku. And this guy, it's funny, I was watching one with April yesterday and she's like, well, this guy doesn't know any more than the rest of us. And I said, that may be true, but this guy has done his homework. He is steepled. As much as I would say I know about Star Trek, this guy knows about Star Wars. EU, current, happening, the animated shows, the movies, what's coming up. He postulates a lot of theories. I share a lot of his stuff on our page. I'm going to share his links on the podcast page in an effort to get it, to make him aware of us, because maybe we can find a way to bring him into our community, because it is really great if you're looking to dive deep, get some answers, get an informed opinion on something that might be coming up, or an Easter egg that you maybe didn't absolutely understand. This is the way to go. Star Wars Explained over on Facebook and YouTube, actually searchable, Star Wars Minute, or simply Star Wars Explained. I highly recommend it. Todd, have you watched any of these videos, or is it just too deep a dive for you?
That I like those. I do a lot of the same thing with like video games. They like do the Game Explain, and they'll talk about the history of video games, or sometimes talk about unreleased video games and how those, the backstory on it, which I love history of things. I love documentaries, so I love that kind of, just deep dive. Sometimes it's fun to see how the sausage was made. So, that. Charlie, hey, send out the secret friend signal to him, and maybe we can get him to come on, because that's something else we want to do, is do more interviews and kind of spread what we are doing, and also connect with people that are doing cool things. So maybe that's what you can do and reach out to them, and it's kind of cool to see creators and how they do what they do.
He does have an email link on his page for business inquiries. I guess it's kind of business. It's funny business.
Sure. So, it's also, sharing the love and, getting, any publicity is good publicity. So we'll go from there. We do.
So I will send this gentleman a note, because I would love to have you involved. So, sir, I will also tag you. He seems like a younger guy. Sure. I will go ahead and tag you on our page if you notice it and it correlates with the email I send you. I would love to hear from you. So that's it for me, buddy. And I guess that's it for us overall. That's the end of the podcast. As always, friends, thanks for tuning in. Thanks for listening. We are a side project, a shoot-off, should we say, haunted hallucination of the Secret Friends Facebook community and podcast page. Find us there on Facebook. Just search Secret Friends Unite, and we are there to be found. We're also over on the Twitter at Secret Friends U. Send us a twinkle twankle, a Twitter, a twa twa, and we will shoot you back. Love having you. Thanks for listening. We appreciate you tuning in for our ramblings. As always, I'm going to tell you that sharing is caring, and to keep on trucking.
Be the hero, not the villain.
In the truck.
I wanna live in a world full of heroes, not sit here counting zeros in a cubicle downtown. I wanna look out my window, see 'em flying, and swing across the horizon as I cheer 'em on so proud. Deep-powered girl, keep staring at her face, and call Colossus and have 'em teach me ways, and then we'd exercise. I'd be one of the guys. Martial arts from iron fist and wall. I'll dap her up and teach her all my songs. Oh, I wanna live in a world full of heroes, not cooking up these heroes at my parents' restaurant now. I wanna yell out Avengers assemble, not order up for Ethel. Yeah, we're right up Geeky now. Date Emma Frost and have her read my mind. Or Magdalena, her artifacts I find, and then we catch a symphony. It'll just be her and me. Call Lucky Barnes and arm wrestle for hours.